All right, so let's talk about this. Okay, what you got before you is the first sheet is okay, let me to give you a quick update on where we're at. Back in April, council made gave me a direction in the April meeting to go ahead and put together a package to pave the streets in the Triple Bend area, all those streets in there. And so we were going to do Triple Bend and Triple Meadow with alternates to include Triple Leaf and Triple Wood. And so I worked on that, and actually we kind of had it pretty much done. And then when the council dynamic changed a little bit, I can't, issue that out to bid, on my own. I need the authorization of the city to do that. So everything's packaged up, ready to go. Now we're in a different mode, and so I've had a directive to go back and take a look at what we've put together, and so that's what this is kind of in front of you. So what the first sheet is basically the street inventory that I already collected back in March, I believe. And so what I've done is I basically color-coded it. So these are sorted from the worst street under the PCI column. That's the pavement condition index. So the worst street is at the top and the best one at the bottom. And then there are just different colors for, the red is the really bad one. So anything below a 65 is red, and anything between an 80 and a 65 is yellow, and then green is for everything that's better than an 80. And what originally I was thinking that we would do 3 potential applications for street maintenance in the city of China Grove, but I've changed my reasoning on that and reflected on it further. And I think at this point, my recommendation is to do a reclamation for these ones that are in red, and then the yellow and green ones, I think the chip seal would be adequate with a certain amount of base and pavement repair to fix those failed areas of base and pavement. So that's what the next sheet is. And so then the question that was posed to me by the mayor and Councilman McCarty was, go out and take a look at what would it take to, following the guidelines of that first sheet, if we had a program to touch every street in the city at least once in a 3-year cycle, or at least once in a 5-year cycle, what would the budget be for that, and what would that look like? And so that's what these next 2 sheets are. So the second page is basically a 3-year plan. So what we see. So up at the top of the page, that's what we would do in the year 2014, and then you got 2015 and 2016. And I'd like to draw your attention to, now these are round numbers. I've shown you everything I've got right here. That the third of the last column is the cost per square yard. And if you look closely, you'll see that I use an escalation factor each year because prices tend to go up. So a 5-year plan in today's dollars should be a little bit more than a 3-year plan. Not a lot actually, but so I'm using $11.17 for the cost per square yard to do a reclamation and chip seal surface treatment, and then below that for chip seal is $5.50. Now that's a little higher than what we budgeted when I was in the city of San Antonio for a chip seal, but we ran a lower percentage of base repair than what I'm thinking we're going to need on some of the streets. So that budget number includes 15% of the surface area of the streets to be repaired, where my thought would be we'll mill it down 6 inches and put 6 inches of black base in there, which is asphalt treated base. So that's a good material. It's nice and stiff. It's got big rocks in it. It's asphalt. It's like asphalt, but it's a lot coarser mix than what you normally would drive on. And so what that'll do is add hydrants, so if any water wants to get in there, it can't. Like you take the regular flex base, which is basically rocks and clay, essentially sand, those are prone to water eats away at the strength of that over time. Where if it's a black base, it's bound with that asphalt, and it can't get wet because it just can't, So that's why these numbers are a little higher than what we would do. But again, at the bottom of the sheet, there's the total, and then the rough average of what an annual cost would be to do this, to take on this type of program. And then the next sheet naturally is a 5-year plan. And what I've done there is the first year is kind of front loaded, as you can glance down, the first year number is pretty high in comparison to the future years. And we can tweak this, but it comes to the point of being able to say that on average, if you budget $170,000 a year for 5 years, you can basically do some kind of maintenance application that's appropriate to every single street in the whole city. And this chart, I didn't include this in your packet, but this is basically the top is your 3-year deal, and then the bottom is your 5. And so this is showing the total cost for each of the 3 or 5 years for the work, and then this little red part is how much would be spent on reclamations, and then the blue is how much would be for sealants. And so I wanted to indicate to y'all, I don't know if everybody can see that, but the point was to show that we're front loading a lot of reclamations in the early years to try to get those out of the way and get them fixed. And then eventually it's mostly sealants in the future years. And if we do this, once we've done reclamations and done a good job, then it's just a matter of every 5 to 10 years, maybe go out and do another chip seal and just stay ahead of the game before they start to deteriorate. And then lastly, we've got these maps that basically, so the first map is a little GIS map that we threw together that again is the street condition, color coded, so you can see where the hot spots are and where, there's streets that are in better condition and all that. And then this map, the one behind it with purple, gold, and green, that's your 3-year plan. And then the last one is your 5-year. And this 5-year plan, I'll tell you right now, I want to spend a little more time balancing the numbers on it as we go through. But I think the main concept, I maybe been appropriate for me to make this assumption, but I think what y'all are hoping to do is figure out what's an appropriate level. Should we do a 3-year or a 5-year? And then what's the funding that would be associated with whichever one we choose to do. But whatever you choose to do, I worry for us because the economy's getting better. These numbers are based on bid prices that were from over the last year, like the city of TxDOT did. But TxDOT's starting to release more projects to go out to bid. And the city of San Antonio, I met with them yesterday. They're getting ready to do a huge number of bond projects that are going to hit the streets in August, September, October. And then we got the Eagleford deal. So all I'm saying is, the time is of the essence a little bit on this. I'd like to go ahead and get the first package out fairly quick, at least beat the August deadline, so we don't have to go in competition with San Antonio, because then when all that, y'all understand it, then now there's more work that the contractors can do, so they're not going to need it, so they're going to put a huge number on it when they bid it. So that's what I worry about the most, because if we wait too long, we'll have a bit of a problem with that.
Jim, in our discussion there, we were talking about this, their reclaimission. I don't think a lot of people understand it. That's going in and tearing the street completely up, taking all out the base that's there, and replacing it. Is that correct?
No.
What is it?
It is, you go in and you pulverize the existing, you take the base and the asphalt that's there, about 6 inches of it. Now, I wouldn't even recommend it go all the way, but you remix it, you road mix it in the road, mix in cement, 5%, 4 to 6%, I'm using 5% of cement, you water it, and then it hardens the cement and bonds all that together. And then you come in and you put your 2-course on top of that.
Now, we was also talking that the whole street don't need it. Just
Right.
spots, right?
Yeah.
So we could get by just doing it in certain areas, not the whole street, and save a lot of money.
Yeah, you could. And if you wanted to do basically sealants on everything, instead of it being, $11 a yard or whatever I put here, you're looking at $5.50 a yard. You follow me? Now, you might need more than 50% of base pavement repair, so it might jump from $5.50 to $8 or $7, but you're still ahead of the game as far as the weather. I like doing the reclamation. We did one in Helotes when I was there, the street that takes you into the iron ore seal, and it held up really well for the last 10 years or so. The city of San Antonio does reclamations quite a bit. So the good thing about reclamation is it gives you consistency of the road, and you can reprofile the road too, so you don't have as much of this, So that's the beauty of it. You can reshape the crown and you can profile it where you have better ride quality. But if you want to, the city, that's my deal. You guys are the deciders. You tell me, hey, we're going to go in this direction. I'll do it.
Well, what I was getting at is, I think we paid Another engineer who run a bunch of tests, and he said our base is real good, no problem.
I don't know who that was. I got a report from the geotech company that was provided to me where their recommendation was to do a reclamation in cement tree, is the one I got. And I'll be happy to provide that to y'all if you want.
All I know is we need to make some kind of decision, this council, because, this road thing has been an issue for some time, and we need to get this moving.
Every street is different. Every street is different.
Right, but what I'm saying, I understand what he's saying, but with all that said and done, this council needs to get together, and we need to get on the ball here and quit talking and start getting something done.
And I, in the first year deal that we did, it hit some of the high notes, we're hitting the Terra Bonita, we're hitting Triple Bend, we're getting some of the streets that are,
Right.
the focus, but the real question, if y'all want to fix the road, I agree with Glenn, not every street, but it would make sense to come in and do a reclamation for half a block. Then once the contractor's there, you probably get a better deal, having to do the whole thing, But if the decision's made, don't do reclamation, we can do something different. I don't remember the name of the firm that did that at Geotech, they did like 15 or 20 test
We
holes
could
out
probably
there.
get you that information
But that's what, that was funny, because I know they said to do reclamation, because
You got it.
yeah, I don't have it on me, a bunch of us pants,
I just heard it, and I think I was at one meeting there, that when they reported it, they said our bases are all real good. That's all, every test all they did.
Well, maybe they were saying you've got a certain amount of depth there, because it did have like a good 8 inches, 2 inches on top, which was better than, they probably were expecting that just like 4 inches base or less, So the base is there, but it's failing, in a lot of cases, that's all.
You have that much, you don't have to go in and add.
Yeah.
You just recycle what's there, with flat top and a base. You don't have,
Well,
you gotta haul it off.
I can understand that.
Not really, not with reclamation, you're gonna raise the road a little bit, the two course only has about a half an inch or an inch or so for the street, so you're gonna road a little higher, okay?
I guess the question I have really is, from chip and seal to remake them, when you get through with it, both streets gonna be the same?
No, reclamation would be a better street.
Be better?
Because of the fact that you could reshape the crown, and then get a nice profile on it. I think, I don't know, depends what kind of car you got. But some of these streets are pretty lumpy.
Oh, very.
Yeah. I just drove out Terra Bonita before we came here just to get another look at it. The speed bumps are the smoothest part of the road. Right,
Yeah.
it's like I speed up when I hit it. We had to handle it.
What do we need to do?
We need to make a motion.
Yeah, we could, I guess, make some kind of motion, but you don't have to accept the
This is not an
plan.
action item tonight, it's just a presentation.
Okay.
We decided to put on it on the agenda as
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Also, I understand Saul is not through with triple metal, is that correct, Gene?
I think they stuck to put the 8-inch line in, they've done everything on the roadway. They haven't done everything in the park. So they don't wanna do that until they're done. On Triple Bend is done.
Right,
Triple Bend's complete.
it's ready to go.
Yeah, they have all
There's
the
work
sleeves.
left to do.
They have all the sleeves in the triple metal, but they haven't done, I think they're increasing it from the 6-inch main to an 8-inch. You talked to Saul?
Yeah.
You talked to Saul?
And that's what they were actually saying, we could, honestly, they were saying we could move forward with Port of Triple Meadow because the water main is in the parkway, it's not under the pavement. And this is what he told me, I haven't verified this, and I don't know if anybody's from Triple Meadow could tell me, but he said they already cut through the street and put sleeves in there so that if they, once they replace the main, they can just pull the services across to the other side without having to trench. So he's like, hey, we've done what we can do. We're in a position now where you can do the street with low risk without having to trench later. That's what the guy told me. I have no way to verify it.
In redoing these streets, do we have anything set in these numbers that if you find that the bar ditches need to be a little bit dug out or made ditches again because of years of soil and grass and debris, filling them up, is that kind of in this price too, or is that, yes?
Yeah, what I did to do these prices is I actually sat down and did kind of a sum of the parts type of deal, where I looked at how many square yards, and I put time in there for, to regrade ditches. Now, I didn't think that the whole road would need to be done,
Yeah,
but maybe just, you know, if we have a road that's 500 feet long, I might have 200 feet of, so I kind of did that
okay.
when I did this.
Because
So,
you
yeah.
were talking about giving it a crown so the water would roll off of it. But
Yeah.
if it's rolling onto a filled up bar ditch, what good is that gonna do?
Right.
So you have taken into account doing possibly some.
Exactly, yeah. And normally you don't have to, like at the higher spots, like at the crown, at the crest of the road, you don't really need a lot of ditch, but when you get, well, it depends on what's happening around you, but
Yeah,
normally it's when you get down to the lower part, you need to have more pronounced ditch.
okay.
So, yeah.
Is it, y'all have to, can't y'all have a special meeting to discuss this next week and get it going? You can't discuss, I mean, you can't do nothing tonight anyway, can you?
No.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's a presentation.
Yes, sir, I understand that. But can't y'all do something
He's asking.
all together next week?
If we could have a special meeting,
Yes,
or
and get it going.
3-year.
to move it up, to get this plan going.
Mr. Clement, just real quickly, I know you were given authorizations to put a bid packet together, so
Yes,
you've got the total amount, correct?
yes.
It's $200,000, I don't recall.
It was 165 for the base bid, 200 maybe for the total, yeah.
So you got the contract, you got the bid packet, you haven't advertised yet for bids.
No, but we have all that.
So that needs to be done. So it seems, based on what I'm hearing tonight, that this packet that he's presented to all of y'all, does that meet with your approval? Is that what you want to do? Or do you want to talk about it some more and have another meeting? I mean, the
Well,
streets,
the
the
packet
streets.
is
Well, give them two
different.
options,
This
that's the
is
thing,
two-
yeah.
Two different options that he's presenting here.
Plus the original packet only.
Plus, the
considered
original was
bids
only
for
for another
roads.
subdivision. And
Whereas,
we're going by severity here.
So there are several things that
Yes,
still
this
need to be
really needs
ironed
to
out.
be, yes, sir.
because the way he's now got it between a 3-year and a 5-year, much more of the roads can be done,
Which is what the people are wanting.
which would be nice than picking and choosing.
So to answer the gentleman's question, yes, you can have another meeting, you just have to post notice,
Yeah.
so that
Yes.
you know ahead of time.
Okay.
And it is such a big item that,
We need-
it probably, the more you talk about it, it's probably better.
Well, the good news, I don't know if we have a street committee or how that works here, is trying to go, like, I'm new here a little bit.
This is it, right?
This is the committee, okay.
This is it.
Okay, in that case, well, I will just, I do want to make the point that the 5-year plan, you know, the first year of the 5-year plan does hit some of these hotspot streets, you know, and we could pare that back. You know, you can see I have it front loaded on the dollars, but we could probably pull some of these streets off of there, maybe like Viacuna, maybe. You know, this was something that I just put out for the purpose of discussion.
Okay.
And so I guess what I was thinking, Mr. Pena, was that if there was a group that I could sit with, that we could go through some different scenarios, because now, I mean, now you got the dollars. You know, now you know,
Right.
I could send you a spreadsheet over, I mean, and you could sit there and play around with these numbers and the street segments and figure out what makes sense, and then next time we could move forward with a different set of streets or something.
You want a special meeting, or would you like 2 councilmen to talk with him in a little meeting and go over everything that's there?
I think we should do this. Have a workshop type.
Workshop?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Mr. Mayor, I thought we previously had a street committee, which, you know, the remaining person on that street committee at this time is Mike Trainer. So I don't know, you know, how, you know, because, you know, because that street committee has been kind of for the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, if you go back 3 years, I was on.
Right, okay.
Well, I was thinking, maybe we could meet, you know, I don't know what y'all, I'm sorry, I was distracted, but maybe I could meet with a couple of the council people, and I could bring a laptop, or we could meet in my office or whatever. We could run through the scenarios, so everybody's copacetic with it. I could move forward on stuff for the city without a council action, I believe, as long as there's some kind of written authorization for me to move forward on something, but I don't know if that's a legal problem or not. I mean, if we want to expedite this.
Well, eventually, at some point, you're gonna come back with a bid, and somebody's gonna want a contract approved. So before we get to that point,
Okay.
council can decide what they want to do. A committee would work, a workshop meeting would work.
I would like to see a workshop meeting, is what I would like, where we're all involved and we can get something going. And
Yes.
I think that would be that's.
Mayor, can I ask a question? Do you all have a workshop meeting and y'all are not all present, can y'all vote on something? There's not a special meeting? Special session?
There's no voting at a workshop.
Okay, okay, on a special meeting, there's voting.
Yes.
So even though y'all have a workshop, called a workshop, you still can't do nothing to have a workshop. Then you gotta have another meeting to get together to vote on something.
That's true.
So you're delaying everything.
Well, let me clarify, you can do both. You can have a special meeting, and within the meeting, have a workshop. So if you do the workshop, that opens it up to basically asking questions and
Yes,
things of that
and
sort.
you can actually vote that night if you want to.
You can close the workshop and then take action on it during the meeting.
Is that agreeable with everybody, have a workshop?
No, have to meet, special meeting. It's a special meeting, then we go into a workshop, then we come back and we make the motion for what we want. Correct.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, set that.
Item D, town activities.
Hi, my name's Maggie Crosis. I'm a member of the Central District, grew up and went to high school here, and my kids did as well. My cousin and I, Diane Stevens, would like to rent the space next to Depois store, and we would like to, well, she's already retired, and she has a sewing machine. I don't know what anybody there looks like, but I do like art. And so she would like to do some sewing, and we would like to open up a small little art shop and welcome local artisans into the shop to sell some of their things, join in with the other members of the community, and see if they would like to join us and get some of their things up. And I would like to retire and join her. And I served on the Central School Board for 11 years, and I would like to consider serving them and not have a job, and just do what I love to do all my life, have a good time. So we just wanted to come before you tonight and ask for your permission, and hope that you guys the opportunity.
What would be your shop hours?
We are going to, basically during the week have, I would believe something around maybe 10 to 6, 7-ish, and then during the summer, we would like to offer some painting, and so we would possibly stay open a little bit later for birthday parties for children and as well as adults. It's quite popular for wedding parties, and even have couples meeting and things like that. So my daughter's fiance's little girl had a birthday party. It's very popular.
Yes, I know.
You know, painting with the twist and all that kind of stuff. So we want to do that.
How
and
many,
just-
how many can occupy that space?
I'm not aware of that. Diane has some of the paperwork, but I'm not sure. I can find out for you.
Yeah, because is there a restroom in
Yes, there's a restroom, there's also a workroom, there's a huge space out back, for storage, and it can be made into a room to make it necessary. We're also, prepared to, limit the painting if we have to. I mean, obviously, you don't want to be crowded when you do something like that, so we're actually prepared to start out with just one
Yeah,
party at a
because the
time.
only thing when you said party, then I'm thinking, okay, 30 people in one
Oh, no.
space in one bathroom, you
No,
know?
the front of the said, local artisans. A lot of people have their own line of things that they make, such as ceramics and jewelry. And then the back of the area is very open, and it would be just a one long area for painting, and it would only be one party at a time. When you say party, basically they just gather around, and there's one artist that basically guides them, they paint what they want to paint, and then they're done. Really, actually, we're going to do 10 is the maximum. 10 people, and then for adults, it would be 6 to 8, and no more than 10 children at a time.
And would it be, would you also possibly open Saturdays or?
Yes, and we would like to, being that that's popular for birthday parties, and especially with school out. We'd like to be able to offer that to the community as well. So,
As long as the occupation is right over there, I have no problem with that. I'd like to make a motion to have you open that business if
well,
possible.
thank you very much, we're looking very forward to it. I am especially.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor from House, and we have a second from Glenn. So if you would just come in to turn the keys. Charlie, keep on.
I know that. She's charming.
You're just checking.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion's carried. I should have heard permit.
You'll get with the
Okay.
authority right now at this point.
Thank you so much, Council, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question, Mayor. I understand there's no jurisdiction for restrooms unless it's an eating establishment. So you can have 50 kids in there, in one restaurant, and you read code, period. If it's an eating establishment, then it's an issue of how many people come in there, and how many seats there are for restaurants. So even if it's a place in employment, you just need one restaurant.
Thank you.
If you can check on that, that's where I understood for years.
Do I need to answer that? Okay. We're not gonna eat anything.
But I know that, I know exactly what you're gonna do there.
Yeah.
That's why I say one restaurant's fine.
Oh, thank you very much, yeah. We have to put one in Newark, definitely. Do I need
Okay.
to?
Handicap.
Thank you.
Move on. Next one we have, Manuel Magana.
Good evening, thank you for your time. Thank you for having me in front of you today. My name is Manuel Magana, and I am before you today in regards to a property located at 7555 US Highway 87 East. It's currently for sale. Me and my brother currently have a contract, earnest money contract on the property. And there's a special provision within the earnest money contract that states that we have time to come before City Council of China Grove to discuss what our business options are there. And this is the picture of the property. I'm sorry if it's a little blurry or a little discolored. Please forgive me.
That's the old Miller place.
Old Miller's Place, yes, ma'am. Walgreens wanted to charge me more for higher quality, and I don't even know.
No, that's okay. I didn't get, you
I'm
guys
sorry. There's like I said, there's a special provision within our earnest money contract that states we have ample time to get approval. So that's why we are here tonight, or I'm here tonight to ask for your permission. What we desire to do is have a pre-owned automobile sales place here, along with an inspection station also there as well. We figure that we can park automobiles along the fence line of the property here, not across the entrance, of course. We're estimating about 3 cars in line, parallel, maybe about 4 or 5 rows back, estimating around 15, no more than 20 cars on the property. Also, we would like to be able to do the inspections within the garage that's already there. I'm sure some of you passed by 87, you've seen the property maybe, but there's a detached garage / warehouse. We have looked into it, discussed, researched our parameters that we have to meet and things like that as far as doing inspections there, and we do believe this will meet the parameters of the state of Texas in order to do inspections for vehicles, for those who want to get their inspection renewed. It's pretty spacious there, and we did see it, and we do believe it will meet the
I think
requirements.
Manuel, they used to do
I am not aware of them, I can't say for sure, but I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
used to
they
get my
might
car
have.
inspected there in Little Rock.
Well, we would like to take the opportunity to, there is a home/office on the property. I'm sure maybe again, if you possibly viewed it before, it's probably in need of a little bit of renovating, but nothing really on the outside, more on the inside, we believe. And we think we can turn this into an ample office to operate there and do our business there as well. So, what I'm trying to say with all these things is, we're not looking really to add anything to the property. It seems that everything's pretty much there and in place. And also what is there and in place, again, if you've been there, passed by, I'm sure you've probably seen a sign that's there and in place. So, just some paint and some coloring. I have some friends that are graphic artists, and they're already talking to me about possible designs. I told them to hold on because they don't even have the property yet. So, that's there as well already. So again, we don't feel there's much that needs to be done to it. We're not really looking to add to the property, build on the property. We feel that there's quite a few things there already that will be sufficient enough. Finally, in case anybody is wondering, we are looking, this shed is not on the property, so forgive me. I'm trying to show the end of the fence line as it goes into the property. That's on the other side of the property where the church is at. What I'm trying to show you is the parking, that we plan to have ample parking for people, so it's not chaotic coming in and coming out. Parking, of course, handicap parking, such like that. Probably about 5 spaces of parking, we're estimating 4 to 5. And also, of course, keeping it organized for those who want to get their inspection done as well. Okay, so we've thought about it out, we've looked it out. In case you're wondering, I am in the car business. Been in the car business with my family for about, well, I'm 28, but my family's been in the car business for about 20 years. I grew up in it, went to school, got my business degree in business management, but I stayed in the car business. It's been good to me, it's been good to my family, and thank God we're okay so far. And so anyways, that is what we're here for, to see if you would grant us that permission. That way, if it's granted, I know where I stand in our earnest money contract specifically, and if not, well, I think we can all value the dollar and know that I can get that money back. And also, I do have a few questions, if I may, once, I don't know when I can ask those questions, but I do have a few questions also regarding the city of San Antonio and city of China Grove and some phone calls that I made a couple of days ago.
I have one question.
Sir?
Is Williamson Motors, or?
No, sir, no, sir, I'm not Williamson Motors, no. I do not have a name for the property yet. Again, I want to approve it first, so.
Okay.
What was your question?
I was told that the commercial, according to Bear County, was considered residential property, according to the Bear County Appraisal District. Being off Highway 87, I was under the assumption it was probably commercial property, but they're telling me it's listed as residential property. So, and then I asked them again, but if you ever dealt with City of San Antonio, sometimes it's hard to get a phone call back.
Oh, yeah.
I asked them again, well, if I want a license to operate a business there, do I need to speak just to the city of China Grove, or do I also need to go to the city of China Grove and to the city of San Antonio for permission? Because a lady on the phone told me, well, we have a list under San Antonio. And I said, great. So now that means more people I need to talk to. So not that I want to talk to y'all, but I would like to just get to this directly to who I need to speak to.
It could be to this San Antonio, Texas, we live in China Grove, you know.
Okay.
I think that's the difference.
The zoning in there goes 300 feet off of the highway.
It's all commercial.
That's
It's
commercial.
all commercial, 300 feet back.
Okay. Then may I ask them why the city of San Antonio told me it was residential? That's why.
Because that
It's
house
a
was a
big
residence.
Oh, okay, that's nice. Okay.
Hey, that house is strictly gonna be for your business, it's going to be an office, correct?
Yes, ma'am. It will be
You're
an
not
office.
renting it out or anything, I know.
No, if I need a place to operate, so it would be considered an office.
About repairs, or oil changes, anything like that.
Oil changes, no, sir. We do all that kind of stuff off premises. We have other people that take care of it. So the closest thing we'll get to doing it in the car would be switching out batteries and washing detailing, probably. I'm not a mechanic.
And what was your hourly fee?
10 to 6, possibly 9 to 6, but more likely 10 to 6. Monday through Friday, Saturday, 9 to 2, 10 to 2.
Well, I think you thought your plan out quite well.
Well, we've hit roadblocks and had to learn the hard way sometimes, so I didn't want to.
You're doing a good
So I wanted to talk to you all and the citizens before we do anything else.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the permit for, what's the name of the place gonna be?
I don't have a name. Do I need to give you a name? I'll give you a name. I'll throw it off the top of my head right now.
with me.
But it's under, this is still under Manny Wagani right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
May I make a suggestion? If you're going to approve that,
What do you
then
want?
you approve that subject to you actually closing on the deal, coming
Okay.
back to the city hall with the
Okay.
paperwork, and then presenting that to the city secretary so that everything can be issued.
I understand, but as a contingency, then basically.
So we can't vote to give him a permit?
Yes, I just wanted to put a requirement that he has to come back and tell you, hey, I did
Oh.
buy it.
Right, to get your permit.
I,
Oh, yeah, okay.
And if for whatever reason he changes his mind,
Not a big deal.
then
If he decides to put a restaurant in, then, you know,
Right.
he did not approve that business.
yes, ma'am, thank you.
So we have a motion amended to that, Kathy? Okay, do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous decision.
Thank you for your time, appreciate it.
Next item on the agenda is Williamson Motors.
Hi, my name is Scott Williamson, and I am, I believe, right next door, 7575 Highway 87, right next to a small engine repair shop. I would like to lease that office right next to the small engine repair and start or conduct business in the city of China Grove. And also the pre-owned car and truck business. It would be a small operation, primarily focused on wholesaling vehicles to dealerships. I would anticipate having anywhere from probably 5, actually probably 3 or 4 vehicles most of the time, just kind of depending upon how fast I'm selling them. Usually 3 or 4 vehicles, perhaps up to 10. I would use the office, and then, it's a very big, there's a very big parking area on the property, where the old furniture.
Oh, is that
the
where?
furniture store. So there's plenty of parking and everything, so I would be parking the vehicles in an inconspicuous manner. It's not that I would be necessarily focusing on retail. I would be licensed retail, but it's not necessarily a situation where I'm going to focus in that area or depend on drive-by traffic or anything like that. So, and it's going to be real new, late model, clean vehicles, so it's not going to be vehicles that would be an eyesore to the, pardon my voice is a little bit hoarse. So it's going to be, clean, late model vehicles, no old junkers or anything like that. That would be an eyesore to the community or anything. My hours that I operate Monday through Friday, 10 to 3.
And you're just going to
I'll
buy
be-
the vehicles and then turn around and sell them?
Primarily to
Will you be
dealerships.
working on them?
No,
Cleaning them, changing
No.
oils, anything of that nature?
no mechanical or detail, no kind of mechanical or detailing or changing the oil or anything like that. They're
No option?
proper- Excuse me?
No option?
No. Strictly my place to office and,
And how many cars did you say
Park.
at one time?
3 to 4 vehicles, possibly up to, 8 or 10, but primarily I would anticipate 3 or 4 or 5 vehicles in that range. It's gonna be,
Mainly, you're
small.
gonna be there to resell them.
Correct.
Is it just gonna be you in that office?
Excuse me?
Just you yourself in that office?
Yes, ma'am, just myself.
These vehicles would be outside, we would not be in the building. all these vehicles would be placed outside, they would not come in the building.
No, sir, they would not be in the building, be parked outside.
While they're up for sale, are they gonna be parked out like by the street, the hotel?
They don't have to be. I mean, if it's not problematic, then I probably would park them out towards the street, facing the fence. But again, I'm not relying on drive-by traffic or really even retail customers. So I don't have to, I can park them more towards the building and off the street. That's, preferable.
See, oh, yeah.
Make a motion to accept. Wholesale food trade.
I'll second.
We have a motion on the floor by Martin to accept the business permit. From Williamson at 7575 Highway 17th Street. And seconded by Glenn. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Unanimous decision.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Next item on the agenda is item G, consider and act upon revised personnel policy for city of Janesville.
Mr. Mayor, at this time, I would like to table that item because I just received this information yesterday and I have not had time to review it, and I'd like to review that.
Okay. All in favor of tabling item G, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is tabled to the next regular meeting. Item H, consider an act upon shutdown of trading post due to defective system, detailed email from Bear County Department of Services. Is, Mr. Jenkins here?
I am.
Okay.
Hey, I'm done. Mayor, I thank you for returning my call the other evening. And in this matter, we have corrected everything on their list. I do have a service agreement with Lone Star Aerobic Services. They have been out and inspected as late, I was a little late getting here, I was meeting with those people. Just to kind of let you know, we've only owned this property for about 6 weeks. The property had this problem ongoing. I read the email, seen the pictures, but if you'll notice, a lot of the stuff on there was duplicated. But all of it has been repaired. I have just talked to Delgado Concrete, and we are going to upgrade the system. But what we have to order takes a little while to get it. It meets the county specifications. The system is not that old, but it could use an upgrade as far as some of the lids and stuff was in compliance when it was there, okay? And throughout the transition period or whatever the case may be, maybe an inspector or whatever the case may be, they removed the lid and left it sitting off to the side. As far as the sewage on the outside of the tank, and I'm not saying we're trying to beat the dead horse here because it's already been prepared. That was into the third tank, which is recycled water anyway. That's going to be, it doesn't need to be standing, granted. But we replaced both heads. We put a safety lid on. We've ordered additional safety lids, and we're going to put a privacy fence around it. That is not a deficiency with the county. It's something that we're going to do to protect us as well. We had the concrete barriers that were there were up against the system, which was restricting it from making a full cycle. We've moved the concrete barriers out. I had 2 cranes there Monday or Tuesday last week. We moved the concrete barriers out. We have adequate for the system to work. So there's definitely a problem. I do have a copy of the agreement, but they haven't signed their part of it, but I have signed mine, and it will be sent to the county. That's y'all's copy.
Okay, you get in touch with Bear County on this?
I have not. Bear County will not speak to me about it. It has to go through that service agreement. They're the people that the county contacts,
Because they have to sign it off, right?
because they have to sign off of it. Yes.
So you need these parts that Delgado's supposed to get for you?
No. I've got it all working. I'm in compliance with the county.
Okay, so you are in compliance.
I am in compliance, but we're doing additional.
Right,
In other words, we're gonna do additional to this system to make it more efficient, and
So you are in compliance with the operation.
I am in compliance with the operation. Now, the service agreement has to file with the county, and like I said, they were just out there today. So I don't necessarily know that all of that processing with the county, going on back and forth, but they have a license to check these, and that's the reason why that it's in place.
So you don't know how long it's gonna take for your service agreement to say that you're in compliance? Or is that what that is?
Or for them to get it to the county, so the county
That,
will come back.
that I can't answer,
Yeah.
but I do know that all the deficiencies that was on her list, plus additional, that the service agreement people pointed out, we have made those repairs, and we did additional work to comply with the system. Like I said, we've moved the concrete barriers, we're in the process of doing some tree trimming, so on and so forth, where it makes it a little better, nicer facility, I guess you could say, even though it's in the
I just had a question. What exactly is the item here for the council? Is to basically shut down the operation?
Bear County,
Bear County
that's
told us that has been correct.
until he had made these repairs. He's now made these repairs.
You never closed it, so there's no action that you need to take tonight. But you could keep this for another meeting, or you could just follow up on that.
These, yeah, all of these requirements.
Really,
But-
the only-
But he's got, he needs to get the
Other person to
Bear
sign.
County to sign back on it.
And like I said, there again, I don't know how long it takes to get the but I do know that I'm in compliance as far as having a service agreement. And in order for the man to give a service agreement, it has to meet their standards.
So what you need, I think, is a clean bill of health from the county, and when you get it, then you don't have to deal with this.
I can send the service agreement company I can send the service company an email and have them send me something where they submit it to the county and go from there. Now, it's supposed to be by the end of this month that we should be in compliance as of June the 31st or the 30th, I believe.
That's why the contract's dated forward.
Yes, because they had to come out and check it and make sure that we have everything in.
So is the business in compliance now?
Yes,
It is.
yes.
Do you have something other than you telling the council that confirms that? Can you provide them with some documentation on that?
We have
That's
them
the other, the only thing
email
you
us
have.
that, yes, they have been out, they have approved it. I mean, Lone Star Aerobic Services, can they contact us? Since
I'm
this
sure
isn't
they would.
signed by them.
I'm sure
Is
they
that-
would.
that's what
I don't know why they would have.
Well, my suggestion, and it's completely up to the council, is it looks like things are moving along as the owner has been directed to do, but we don't have all of the final documents. So this may be something you want to keep on your agenda, just go back to.
I can bring you the best documentation or what documentation I have at the next meeting. I can provide pictures. Like I said,
Well, I think what they need is something from the lady who told them to shut it down, saying they don't need to do that anymore.
well, and I got you, but I have yet to get this lady to call me back. So, other than the mayor was the only one that called me back, so, and like I said, we were given this code compliance at 8:30 on Memorial Weekend on a Saturday night. So I lost 4 days before I could ever even get in touch with anybody on top of it, so, we've done all that we can do to make sure that we're in compliance. And we stay in compliance.
Well, absent sending your own inspector out there to confirm that, you will have to rely on the business owner's word that in fact it is being done. But the suggestion, and it's only a suggestion, you all decide what you want to do.